I'm not gonna lie.
Marriage is
Me as a young
work.
person, let me be honest. Me as a young person, I've seen this a lot. I have one of my closest friends, one of my best friends, who grew up in a different lifestyle than me. Like he doesn't really want to be having, he doesn't want to be in a relationship in the place of marriage. He kind of just wants to have kids and do his own thing. And because of that, I have different point of views. Because me, I grew up in this amazing family where it's like, thank God to mom. I grew up in this amazing family where it was so perfect, or this idea of what it should look like. So that was everything that like I looked up to, and I thought that was the most amazing thing, and I still do to this day. Like I never saw mom and dad fight, not one time ever. Like I've always respected them. I always saw them respect each other. Like they were always, if we fight, to go to the bedroom, and yeah, there were disagreements, but it was never at a point where it was like disrespectful. So growing up like that, like explaining that to him and seeing from his point of view, he never grew up like I grew up. So and I think it all comes down to also the generation that we live in, where it's tough to talk about stuff like this because um, it's just like a challenging situation. It's like depression for a lot of African parents. We kind of make it up. The African parents are like, oh, sometimes we say, oh, we're depressed, and then the African parents are like, what are you depressed for? Like there's water, there's air, you can breathe. You know what I mean? They expect everything to be fine, and especially since like me growing up, how I've grown up, where like people can see the glamour and the niceness. Like everyone doesn't know that everyone has their own struggles. But like Vanessa pointed out, like a lot of people don't, want to put in the work. They want all the rewards, but never want to put in the work.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I
because
mean?
your parents were doing the maintenance under the carpet. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Once the pile got a little bit big, they made sure that they cleaned it up.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
And then most
never
times
we
there's
never
not-
let it turn into toxicity
Correct.
and dysfunctionalism.
No.
Dysfunctionalism. Dysfunctionality. Yeah. We never allowed it to get dysfunctional because this is look. No, honestly, Jay, listen. This is
Continue.
Jay. This is where the issue is. A lot of people, like Robert is saying, they sweep everything under the carpet.
Yeah.
Then they become dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Because now it's no longer you're not even acting. Now this is toxic.
Yeah.
Because now you're totally living in a zone that's not should not even be livable.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So what I love what Robert said, that we would deal with our issues.
Yeah, and not in front of us a lot. Like
And not
sometimes you just be like,
no, we rarely.
I've never even
we
like
rarely
seen them
did,
like argue in front of
yeah,
us.
a few times here and there, but
But
nothing.
it was no, but I'm happy you did because
Yeah.
we also didn't need to see a
A
fake
perfect-
idea or
yeah.
a perfect idea of how things work. I
Right.
think that would have ruined us
Yeah.
completely. Can
No,
you
we
imagine?
needed for you to see that yes, sometimes we can fight,
The
but we
reality.
never did anything stupid.
No, your fight
Like
was never big enough.
the key, like showing the kids that we are even abusing each other,
Yeah, actually
calling
fighting
each other
on
names. Dear God, have mercy. Can you imagine in front of kids, you're calling each other, you're cursing at each other in front of your kids, and then siding with the kid, like
Yeah.
telling the kid, you see, your mother has become,
As whatever
and
who
the mother
said
saying
you
the same thing about the father.
Yeah.
You see, look at your father. Do you
Okay.
know what you do to that child? You literally mess up with that child's psyche. That's why they don't want to get married, because you've messed them up completely.
Yeah.
So we would do our thing, but it would be mature,
Very.
and we'll deal with it. So you were saying, so you would see
About your
that.
friend, no.
My friend who from the conversation we were just having was he never had a dad, or he does have a dad, but they never were really communicating or talking much, and because of that he made the decision of being like, I just want kids. I don't want to have a wife. I just want to have my kids and be able to provide for them, and but not be, actively there all the time. Just be there with them. But my wife, I don't really want one, and I understand that because that comes from so many things. Even me personally, if I might say, like, I love my dad, and my dad's like my superhero and everything. But our relationship grew the best it has the older I got. You understand? Like when I got to a place of like really maturing, 21, 22, 23, 19, 18 is when we really had conversations and really got to become friends, not just like it wasn't just ati father and son, because everyone has their own way. Like I understood also from my dad's point of view how he, had this vision and goal and really worked hard to achieve it. And because of that, it was like mom was the one who was always, making sure we are taking care of, reassuring us, and making sure like we're always close as a family. So in that aspect, I understand. But like I said before, I've never sat down with his dad before or had a conversation with his dad before. It's not that I don't want to or anything. I just feel like it's the time has never come, and that's crazy because even recently, he dropped him off to church one time, and I was like, "Let me see him," and he was like, "Nah, he just has shorts and a hat on, and he's not the type of guy to really come out much." But we'll definitely set that up one of these days, and he's a great guy. So, yeah.
Okay, okay. Now me, I'm going to fight you on this because I generally think you're right. I think Gen Zs are okay with pointing out, yeah, we're toxic, yeah, we're this, yeah, we're bad, yeah, we can be naked, yeah, we're feminist, yeah, we're etc. A B to XYZ. You're great at that. But like I had said in the past, I think your biggest issue is work. Your friend probably is not interested in the idea of marriage because it's work. Having a daughter is great because my genes can carry on and it's a cute thing to have, but I don't have to put in the work. I don't want to come to church and be judged because I can't open the Bible for myself and read what God says about me and the word. Yeah.
It's work. Reading the Bible is work.
Reading the Bible is work.
Praying is work.
Community
is work. Relationship is work.
Relationship is work. Parenting
is work.
It's like they're taking the aspect of work
I
away
find
from
they
it.
don't want work.
Jay, I'll give you a great example, and this is a meme, by the way, and I think I have never seen anything truer. Millennial, that's my generation, and moms are even harder than us. You go drinking. We'll use drinking. You go out on let's even call it a Sunday. You're out until 5 a.m. You go home, nap for 30 minutes, wake up, shower, go to work. Okay?
Be in the office by 8.
Be in the office by 8. Gen Z goes out, gets home at even 3. Sleeps, messages the boss at 8. I'm sick, can't make it. Checks out for 2-3 days, okay? And then comes into work on Thursday, so he has the 2 Thursday, Friday. Now, I'm not saying they all do this, but it is
a very
common in that generation. In my workplace.
And they don't want repercussion.
They don't want repercussions.
No repercussion. You don't want the work. You just, no consequences.
Work-life balance, and I don't even think they understand what that is. I thank them for bringing it up because it helped us get it, but they don't understand it. So they take it to the other extreme. Work-life balance means my life is more balanced than my work, right? I'm here, aren't I? I woke up to the job. It's almost like you owe them.
They're entitled. They're entitled.
I didn't want to use the word, but that's how it feels.
But most are entitled.
And that's how it feels. So you're right. You guys are more aware than the other generations. But that's where the bucket stops. The effort to address the issues, the idea of therapy, the idea of working on relationships, the idea of let's even go jobs. I have to do what I love. Okay, how do you think those?
So it's about so is it about me, myself, and I?
Yes.
It's about being self-centered. Life is about you.
Baby, what do you reckon? Only your perspective in this generation, because that's how I.
Okay, I think it's important to also say that not every person is the same. The same way we said at the beginning, not every marriage is the same.
Yeah.
So it's a spectrum of people. but in general, I do agree. But the most important thing to say here is what you put into it is what you get out. Comes to business, comes to marriage, comes to girlfriend, comes to daughter, comes to son, comes to everything. What you put into it is what you're going to get out. Now, most people in today's society, what they want to get out of it is money. So they can live the fancy life. All the celebrities are living big houses, beautiful cars, all these things that are shiny and sparkly and look nice on the surface, but there is no substance behind them.
Yeah.
Now, your friend, he wants to carry on his genes. That's why he wants a baby mama who's going to take care of the kid. Okay? But he doesn't want to put the work into it.
Yeah.
That kid is going to become a worse for the net worse for the society. Simply
I'm just laughing at Rob because it was like, I'm glad you said worse. So, instead of something else, continue.
Now, net worse for the society because the kid, let's assume it's a boy, is growing up without a father who's not present, who didn't put in the work, who didn't play football with them, who didn't take them to church, who didn't go out for dinner with them, you know. Money can only buy so much.
And you know, that is so beautiful.
So I think that's why the most recent generation, that's where they're failing the most. That they are happy to put in the work, but only for me, myself, and I, which is just for the just for the camera, just to be there, just to get the newest BMW, basically.
Which is selfish,
Right.
and the Bible is totally, completely against selfishness. We are all called to be selfless. The reason why Christ even gave his life was selflessness. Do you understand? To sacrifice. And a lot of people now are getting away from selflessness into selfishness. It's about me. What am I getting? It's, so get me a baby. And you don't want to even bring up that baby.
Yeah, and by the way, Jay's story is not unique to him. We have a friend, no? He's like, literally, I've given up on marriage, noting his version of trying with marriage is cheating on every woman he's dating. But it's too hard, apparently, right? Don't want to put in the work, but I want a child. One thing that is consistent with men is the need to have their genes carried on. So children are of mass importance. What is perpetuating this as okay is the celebrities we have today. Like, I don't like him, but I'll call him out.
The
Diamond.
White situation, remember that?
Like Diamond, just next door.
Yeah.
How many baby mamas does he have?
And they're fine.
And
they want to be.
Great lives. And this guy is traveling and living the best life on the planet. And he's a good dad because he sees them periodically. And suddenly everyone goes, this cannot be the worst thing. This is a young man that people look up to.
Yeah.
How then is this
They
generation
call
going
him
to
the
think of
Simba
what
of
works?
Africa.
They do.
They call him the Simba of Africa because he has like 7 baby mamas from all different places.
Let me tell you what I love. Let me tell you what.
Because he takes care of
what
them
Robert
financially.
said. Let me tell you what Robert said that I love very much. Is that money is not everything, because here is the problem.
I agree.
You do all those jets, you do all those, whatever. But I'm telling you, the best thing you can ever gain as a human being is relationship. And the best thing you can ever do is have a wonderful family that you relate with. Because ultimately, all those things, nobody has ever gone into the grave with all those things.
I agree.
Let me tell you, I watched my dad. My dad, on his deathbed, all he asked was, where's my wife? Have all of you guys, his children. And the best gift that he could ever receive on his dying bed was seeing us all together surrounding his bed. The entire of his family, we were surrounding his bed.
I love that guy.
Let me give you a story. When we were little, my sister answered me rudely. My dad called her and really slapped her. and said never do that. So he was very loving. We are saying this to say that ultimately, at the end of it all, the best gift you can ever get is your family. Just love your family, be around your family. Just know how important it is to have family. Because I tell you the truth, even if you have billions, trillions, at the end of the day, that is not what will give you joy.
And I think a lot of young men don't understand that, whether you like it or not, or whether the mom has something to do with it or not, when you are not present in your kid's life, your kid will always side with the mom, whether she talks bad about you or not. Because a kid feels this need to protect their parent. So one time when he was younger, me and Rob were arguing about something. It wasn't even loud, but his voice is deeper than mine. She was telling him off. I'm like, no, baby, mommy and daddy, okay. Sometimes grown-ups just talk. And it wasn't even a big thing. And she was 2. There's no bad mouthing, there's no nothing. Kids just automatically are drawn to mommy. And if you're doing something, even mom can be like, your dad loves you, he's very good, blah, blah, blah. And the kid is not seeing your presence.
Presence is everything. So we are saying that because of the story you're saying that, I want a baby, but I don't want marriage.
To really think through what it is he is saying.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of people don't have the friendship aspect of parents because it comes from a place of as I said, African families where you know it's just like we're not your friends, we're your parents type thing, and I really commend um, Rob and Vanessa because you guys are amazing. Okay, they're the most amazing group of parents because they actually like put in the work and actually like check in on their daughters, go to their sports games, invest in their birthdays. Like I've never seen somebody invest so much in in her child's birthday like my sister does, and it's the most amazing thing to see.
Hey.
Actually, like such an amazing mom.
You are
Like, I'm not even like.
Me, I haven't heard anything about me.
Wait.
Oh no, he said our marriage is very good. Okay, it's fine.
Okay, just carry on.
Yeah, let me finish. Vanessa is such an amazing
She said that.
But I've never.
Carry on.
I have a friend who really has desired for that, and you guys know him. I have a friend who has really desired for that, but never had the chance to get that because it's like, the parents have a certain view, and yeah, they're working on it over time, but it's such an important thing for parents to get to a place where when the kid gets old enough, you guys become friends and you guys are able to relate to each other and like not just relate to each other, but you can mentor me or walk with your child, and be able to really help the person become who you want them to be or who they aspire for themselves. Like if they give you a certain goal, you're able to work with them, and that's why it all comes back to the OG, the old man. I was actually talking to him yesterday. Love him, man. I love him with all my heart. Like my dad is my friend, and a lot of people can't say that, but like he's genuinely my friend. Like even if you're not talking about stuff, we can just talk about sports. Like yesterday, we were talking about like the Grand Prix, because I like racing and I like football and I like all that stuff, and he genuinely likes the same stuff. And the fact that we can even just relate on that level without even having to be, fake around each other or say certain things and can't say certain things, one thing I really appreciate about my dad is the fact that I can put my fears on him and my burdens on him. And I can be like, Dad, I don't know about this. I'm scared. I don't think I can make the best choice here. I don't know what to do. And he's like, I think you should do this. Or calm down. You'll be fine. Like, like just somebody you can put your expectations on because they've lived that life already that you aspire to be like. You understand? So it's easy for me to be friends with my father because I want to be like him, or aspire to at least, have that same effect on my child, and it's the most amazing thing to see, even for Rob to go and just, be around there and just to sit there and talk to people and be able to, relate to people and have a good time, which is amazing, to just see, because it's just a good example, even for me being younger.
And Rob takes her out. How is that?
It's awesome. We went to Diani together, before Vanessa joined us.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important as well, just for dads to spend time with their kids without the mum. Yeah.
Without the mum.
And vice versa, even for the mum to spend time just with their kids alone.
So wait, first talk about the dad, because that's very, very different for many dads.
I think the most important aspect is that it forces you. Like you don't have the option of Vanessa, take care of this, like she needs food or whatever, so you have to take care of it. The child has to survive. But it becomes easier, on day 2, on day 3, on day 4. And I think a lot of dads struggle with it.
Yeah, a lot. They really do.
Because we are not motherly, like we are fathers.
Yeah.
So we're there to provide and to protect. But for the kid to grow up in a loving household, I think it's important for them to spend time together as well, because you both become codependent on each other. You know what I mean? So then it's also about survival and bonding, and you want to have a good holiday at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So you don't just want to argue.
The whole exact time.
Let me just say when she said when she came from golf with Dad, with Rob. Remember that time?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
She came from golf with you one time, and she found Dad and I here, and she said, me and Dad didn't fight at all.
We had the best time.
We had the best time. I thought, you are 6, not 16.
And the context of that is because they are so similar. They disagree on the same thing. Like they'll be arguing about the same thing. They're just because they're the same person.
Yeah.
And I think what a lot of dads do, we'll call it wrong for the purpose of this discussion, is they wait until their kids are grown.
They do.
Because they're like, okay, I can relate with a teenager.
Yeah.
Believe me, by the time they're a teenager,
They
don't
don't
want
want
nothing
relationship.
Yeah, we have, like, we don't, we're just like, alright, like,
what
we
relationship
want
are you
nothing to
talking
do with
about?
it.
stranger, let's go for a coffee
Go
date.
what? We won't
I don't
even have
know
anything
you.
to talk about.
How's school? Good. Do you like any girls? I mean, there's one who's cute.
But whenever I pick Nia from the school, I force her. You know what I mean? Like I turn off the radio, and I'm like, okay, these 15 minutes before we get home from school, we're gonna talk. I'm gonna make sure that we're gonna have a chat, and your answer better not be good or bad, because your English is better than mine.
Yeah.
So, but 100%, it's very important. Yeah. And of course, I'm the older person, so I'm the one who has to, let's say, force the conversation or initiate it or whatever. I mean, she's just finished school and she's leaving her 20 best friends. You know what I mean? So who am I? You know what I mean?
Best friends.
Yeah.
But you insist so that you can.
Yeah, you have to
create that
insist.
rapport.
Of course, because then over time she feels comfortable opening up. It's like one day I picked her up, and just by herself, she opened up to me that, there is this boy that I like at school.
Before she told
Before she told her, you know what I mean?
She told you first.
Yeah.
What did you feel as a dad?
That's crazy. I don't know how to
Let me turn this thing around here and go back to the school
And find
and find the boy.
a 6-year-old with your height.
Yeah.
Excuse me, son. And shake his hand very
What did you feel? For real?
Well, my heart skipped a beat because I love my daughter, and it just felt like, oh my God, is there another, like where she's 6. I'm like, this soon, this early, she can't break my heart this early. But at the same time, it was a privilege knowing that she has the confidence of telling me her secret.
Deep secret, like that.
Deep secret.
Like a boy.
And now, of course, it's puppy love. Like there's nothing happening there.
Of
you know what I
course,
mean?
of course.
But even for her,
Yeah.
even for her, like she was blushing, going red. Telling me.
Even telling you.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the
course.
Bad Boy scene? The one
Yeah.
where the guy comes
him
in?
and Nathan have been waiting
And
their whole life.
I am recreating
We
it.
have to do
I'm
that.
recreating
Me
it.
and you, we are doing that.
You
Like,
have to
I'm the
fight
uncle.
Nathan because Nathan
Yeah,
has been waiting.
it's gonna be all three of us.
It has to be.
Who are you?
Wow.
You look like,
They just waited for
let me
like
see if I can. That's
I
exactly
can do
this.
that.
Like that. We have to do that, and there's this scene in Bad Boys 2, and they are like, who is you? And he walked in, and the guy comes in, and he's like 6'4", and he's super tall, but then they're like, just because you're tall doesn't mean you're tough, and we try to like bully him because he's taking our niece or our princess away. So we definitely have to do that. That's definitely something. Rob, a test for your boy. Like that's definitely something we gotta run back for sure, because I love that scene.
Wow.
Do we get a gun? We should definitely get a gun.
Nah, gun is necessary, obviously.
It's
for the threats.
So it can make more
But
sense.
that's when she's 16.
Yeah.
I was,
Wait, what?
because at 6 years you will kill the boy. It will be murder.
I was told by a friend when Nia was 4 that I better bulk up because of how cute she looks. so so we gotta hit the gym.
Start lifting the weights.
Yeah, for the next 10 years. Yeah.
We have to do that.
I wanted to bring back the conversation a step when Vanessa was talking about how she goes and talks to Nia and what a good relationship has with her. I agree, but we discuss how we want to raise her as well. Yes, so she might deliver the message because her voice is not as scary as mine, apparently. And she finds the right words, but we discuss it together.
It's
You
such
know?
an amazing
That's
thing. Like,
amazing.
It's
such an amazing
important.
thing.
So Jay, what does a relationship look like to you? Like a girl
With a dad
relationship,
relationship?
a girl relationship towards marriage. Like what does it look like?
Yeah, what you gonna
Me
do?
being younger, obviously. A relationship, what a relationship looks like to me. Fast things fast. No matter how far in life you go. I don't, and this is commended to everybody. The first things first is God. I don't care, like, if it takes you 6 years to find it, if it takes you 2 years to find it, if it takes you 1 year to find it. You need to find somebody that is able to have God as the most essential thing in their life. Because if they can put God over even yourself, that means they value even you, because God would value you. You understand? So that's number one. Secondly, obviously, I wouldn't want somebody ugly. You know what I mean? I'm looking for somebody pretty right now. As I said before, like, God's already done that pretty well. So just put the looks in there, and we'll do with the personality. Yeah, that was, that's just a joke part. But seriously, on a serious note, God is number one. Person who knows herself, without me having to, like, you can have insecurities, and you can be, everyone has insecurities. Nobody's perfect, but somebody who knows themselves and knows themselves in God, and is able to even center me in sometimes when I can't be able to see it for myself, and somebody who would look at life in a peaceful way. Understand? Like somebody who doesn't just take things step by step, but actually has a vision, not just for what I have a vision for, but what, like, God has a vision for both of us, to value the purpose of everything. You understand? So a good relationship has a proper foundation, and I think that's the most important part in general. I want somebody who knows herself, somebody who is not just pretty on the outside, but somebody who is pretty on the inside. Like, is able to love somebody a lot, like mom. Actually, mom's a good example of, the perfect quote unquote wife. Even if mom's not perfect, she's damn near close. You know what I mean?
Hey, somebody said something.
Like there's no Sunday. There's no Sunday.
You all are just ignoring me with all my.
She's great. I think someone who is able to not just submit to the husband, but somebody who is able to even love them, even in times when they don't even love themselves. There are times when I looked at dad and he was going through a hard time, and mom was just there. Like she was able to support him and be there for him and love him, and that's what I'm really hoping for. I'm not rushing for that anymore. Like I used to be like, oh, I want to get married when I'm 25 and have this, amazing lifestyle young. But right now, that's not what I'm really looking for, because it's like I want to prepare myself too. Or it's like I want to be the type of guy. By the time it gets to the place of okay, this is it, I'm adding value to you too, because like the Bible says, wives submit to your husband as Christ, as unto the Lord, right? And then the next part is husbands love your wife as Christ loves the church. Meaning, in that part of myself, like, am I willing to sacrifice for this person in everything? Give everything to her, not just financially or physical stuff, but spiritually, emotionally. Be there for her, be able to listen, be able to be a guy worthy of my wife. Because I want somebody who I want God to look at me and be like, man, I'm proud of you in every way as a husband. Because I'm not just gonna look at you in a place of or my wife at a place of, is it just this? And a lot of people might get married for very mundane reasons. We live in a very generation where people get married for even sex or money or different stuff. But for me personally, what I want, or what love looks like to me, is a marriage where it's a decision to love. It's a decision to follow God. Even in times when you don't want to love, because love is an emotion. Like love is a choice, not an emotion. People base everything on emotion. So, what love looks like to me is really deciding and really um, figuring out every single day a new step of the person. Even if you don't want to uh, walk with them some days, you still decide to love that person regardless. So yeah, definitely somebody who knows herself, somebody who is founded in God, somebody who is just stable-minded, able to keep the vision, and you know, and for us to rule what the Lord has given us to domain. Because in the Bible it says God has given us dominance over the world. So we have so many things we need to get done and so many things we need to do in the purpose. So somebody who understands the goal, somebody who understands the purpose, but somebody who is able to love and walk with me regardless of anything. And for myself to also be at a place where I can be not the perfect husband, but an example of what that should look like. And the good thing is, I have mom and dad to live for it, so that's pretty good.
So you take your time to grow.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's
Isn't that beautiful?
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
And now I think it's time to wrap up, so everyone can say like key things to take away from this, and then I can wrap up with what I wanted to say. Or let me just actually wrap up real quick with what I want to say, and you two can do your ending remarks. So what I was going to say, Jay, with everything you've said, particularly of if you have kids, because that one really stuck with me. If you have kids, you need to be there. You have to be there all the time, every time. Keep that in mind when you find a wife. Be very intentional of the kind of woman you want to marry if you need to be present in your kid's life, because that will affect it. So don't just be jumping into things. And I think that's where people make mistakes because of the flutter, butterfly, whatever. Think about that life. What do I want? Presence. Who allows presence? Being with the right person. What does the right person look like? You've already given your ideas. Friendship. Don't forget the value of friendship in a marriage is everything. In fact, friendship is what helped me and Rob through, I think, everything.
And me.
And you and Dad.
Friendship is everything.
In marriage.
Because I married my best friend.
And another point that I wanted to touch on before you leave. So, for just anyone who's considering marriage, just think about the type of person you're trying to marry and look at what that looks like and think about how can I relate with this person into the future. And you said guys are very intentional when they're dating. He'll never be trying to play games. He kind of knows what he wants his marriage and stuff to look like. So this is for the ladies. Girl, if he is not clear with you, he is not marrying you.
Hit the road, Jack.
And that's okay because you can date. You can have fun, sure, whatever, you're young. The choice is yours. I'm just saying, there's tears that we don't necessarily need to be shedding all the time. And that is one of the signs of a tear not to shed. Guys know where they stand and they make decisions on their future.
And daddy keeps saying, if a man is not saying it, it's because he doesn't want it.
Yeah.
Because if a man knows that he wants to get married and he has zeroed in on you, he knows it's you, he's gonna say it.
And it won't be just random. He'll be intentional. And you don't necessarily need to get married 1 year after he says, I want you to marry you, okay?
Yeah.
There's people who talk about marriage and then you're with them for 10, 12 years.
And they have said nothing.
And they've said nothing or done very little or come up with excuses.
Yeah.
And then you break up.
And some have never even met your people, by the way. That's
They've
a
never
very
even met your
serious
friends,
sign.
your parents, whatever.
When they don't want to meet your
up.
parents, your friends, nothing.
But now I'll put in a little caveat. I don't support it, but I don't think it's the worst. If you are buying a house with a person that you're not yet married but you're committed and you've done this, that is almost always a very sure scenario where you're talking about marriage, because sometimes it could be that you need money to have a marriage.
Yeah.
An investment in property is very substantial. That is a very deep commitment. Like no man is going to buy a house with you for trial. So whether or not it works out, at least this person is thinking about the future with you. So that's a caveat. These are some of those little asterisks.
And for me, this is what I say.
Yeah.
If you know that this is a person you're committing to, stop wasting 5 years, 6 years, just going round in circles. Like, just go ahead and get done.
Because a lot of people who do that 10, 12 years, they marry for 1 year.
Yeah, and then
as if someone changes. Can someone please come on here and tell us why? Because that one doesn't make sense to me. You've been with someone for 10 years, then you finally walk down the aisle in 1 year.
I think it's because...
Yeah, because this is why. Because before you get married, you really don't know this person. It is in marriage that you really begin to see the person as they are. The reality hits you when you get married, because that's when now you're naked, totally naked. See, when you're courting, just having this fun, you can actually really act. You're not yourself. When people get into the house and start doing life, many people, that's when now this
No, but let's be honest.
You know what I mean? Like,
you're together for 10 years that are in the same bed.
yeah.
Anyway, moving on swiftly. So I just, my 2 cents, be friends, be very intentional with who you want to marry if you want to be in your kid's life long term. I think my husband will talk about, getting to know each other as well, or whatever he wants to talk about. But I think those are key valuable things. And I just wish that the young people would not look at us like everything we're trying to say is trying to ruin them.
Yeah.
We come from a place of help. We're not dictating. We're not trying to be better than. Yeah. And I think there's things we can learn from each other generationally.
It's actually biblical.
Yeah.
That the younger women should be taught by the older women. And I believe that you have watched me as your mother, the older one, a lot.
And you've impacted my marriage, like my husband has said.
I actually laugh when I see Vanessa and Stephanie. I laugh because I see myself. I see myself at their age, and I see honestly even some answers. I'm like, okay, they learned. They did. They watched and learned. So the younger women should always learn. They shouldn't look at the older ones like they're old-fashioned. They don't know what they're doing, because that's where the problem is. You see, they need to be. You see, it takes humility to want to learn. It takes humility. You don't know it all. So learn. Robert, we wrap this up.
Yes, I'll be very quick. And Vanessa actually touched on it. She somehow stole what I wanted to say at the end. But be intentional. That's my key advice. I would say, me being with Vanessa, I was very lucky to end up with her, because I don't think I had the same knowledge or the same intention back then, 10, 12 years ago, when we met. So that's why I would like younger people to listen at least a little bit, and it's probably going to save a lot of tears, a lot of divorces as well. Sit down, have a think about who you want to be, as you said, what you want to provide to your woman, and also be intentional about what you want your woman to be like. But don't come up with a list of, I want whatever big butt, like, yeah, but intentional things in terms of, and that woman doesn't necessarily need to have it when you meet her or when you date with her, but you need to be 100% confident in her ability to achieve those things.
So they
Like,
might not be like that when you first start.
correct. They might, and definitely Vanessa wasn't there when we met. Even into our marriage, she wasn't there. Well, you know it.
Yeah,
You know it.
no, she knows it. I wasn't like that when we met with Bishop.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, our friendship
He
grew
has
over
worked
time.
hard.
You know, you definitely, she's right. You definitely have to be friends with who you want to marry. So not just love each other, but be friends, and be intentional. Write a very serious list, but a very short list of what you want your partner to be like, and also be intentional of what you want to provide to them.
Like your non-negotiables.
Yeah, your non-negotiables.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because honestly, let's be fair. Looks play a part. For me, I was incredibly attracted to the height.
They do.
And let's not pretend.
But you see, the issue is, the problem is that we are trying to make people what they are not.
Correct.
Like now, to change the person. Like now, you meet a pretty girl like this. I think Vanessa is gorgeous. You meet a pretty girl like this,
Robin?
with
I need words.
he's doing this.
I need
Stop
words.
it.
Awesome. Stunning. Every woman wants to be you, and every man wants to be with you.
You know? Oh, come on. Hello. Baby, did you hear that? You must repeat it. So, you even lost my train of thought. What is this?
I'm sorry.
Oh my God. Like, she's beautiful.
Yeah.
Then a girl like this meets a man who now starts telling her you should be lighter.
Yeah.
Do you know that is the worst? You should be lighter.
You should work less.
No,
Can
there
you
is a man.
imagine?
There is a man who told a lady, "I wish you had a bigger bum." What is that? You want to just slap him? You know,
And
like,
do you know how many women change to look like that for these men?
and they leave them. For a woman, of course they're gonna leave them.
Who's literally uglier than them.
Of course they're gonna
Oh,
leave them.
wow.
Like, tell me.
That's
No,
crazy.
honestly, I think the
That's a
woman
very
just needs to be
high-
so confident in herself. Like, you don't need a man now telling you need to be light skinned, you need to be this.
Girls, that's a good goodbye exit strategy, yeah? Like, please listen
I
to
feel
what
like every
people
but
say.
every
Even
girl that
when they
I've-
say it as
every girl that
jokes.
I've-
You know, they say, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. But really, what are you beholding? You know what I mean? For me, I just want the replica of what they already looked like. For me, I'm very content with the people that I dated, because everyone that I dated, if you can go back to my track record, they are very good looking. You know, they are very good looking. We can work with the rest. We can figure out the personality. We can do all that stuff. And as I said before, as long as the catalog of God and all the other values, like you have self-value, you love yourself, you love God, you love the things of God, you love what I'm doing, for example, my business in real estate, or what I'm aspiring to be, and you support that, that's fine. But I wouldn't tell you, I wouldn't be like, a lot of people, and this is the thing, a lot of people say, oh, looks don't matter, personality, it's all that matters, and the person, if she has a good heart, that's what, they're lying, alright? They're lying, alright? What really matters is the heart, yeah, don't get me wrong. But hey, nobody wants anybody that looks like, you know, somebody you never knew. You know what I mean? Like, no, a 4 and a 10. You want a 10 and a 10. You feel me? So, if I can just get the replicated versions, I'm fine. Just change the personality and this stuff. We are good. We are good. And I want my mom, obviously.
I got you, baby. We are praying. We are praying. We are praying. I will pray. I will pray. I will pray. Oh, I will pray. If I don't pray, Jeremy will not find her.
Stop it.
So, guys, we love you. This has been amazing. We thank God that we invited these two young men to. You've done a great job.
Yeah.
Thank
Wow.
you. I am.
Well, 22,
I am.
23, yeah.
Wow. I want to look like you when I'm young.
This one, he doesn't age. We'll be fine.
I don't age.
We'll be walking.
I'm not as ashy as you are.
Oh wow, that's a low blow. Are you proud of yourself now?
Bye,
On the
guys.
podcast.
We love
Hey,
you.
you brought it up before the podcast.